Good evening, welcome back. This is the Students StarCraft AI tournament, and we have such a lot of games today that it will be quite a challenge to cast them all. And as promised last week, when I had a little bit of a look at the bottom end of the ladder, today we'll have a big look at well, everyone in between that and the top 16 basically. And I can't really promise that I'll have every single AI casted. There are so many bots that it's nigh impossible to get all of them in with any kind of certainty. But I think I have got most of them, if not all. And we're starting with a little bit of a recommendation. And it's SSCAIT versus Lucas. And first of all, I'd like to show you the rankings. We've got, well, almost 120 games done per bot, and that's quite a lot. Of course, about 140 will be done. You've got 72 bots, and SSCAIT is still on top with 95% win rates. Same goes for Lucas. Both of them lost 6. Then Ironbot, Purple Wave, Banana Brain. Banana Brave has been doing really well. Killerbot, Crazio Protoss, Bereaver, and Microwave, and then a TCMU Protoss 2. And then we've got Halpan, Steamhammer, Proxy, Mccrae, Neo, Edmund Zerg, and I think that Eric Hammer is number 16. So a lot of things are possible still, because that's only 69.3, 86.75, 0.70, and 0.14. So lots of these players could still make it. Even Leaderbot, Simp could still be in there, depending on the bracket for the last 20 couple of games. And for Alien and the rest, it will be pretty hard to get in there. But without further ado, let's have some games, because the games are what it's all about. And we are starting with SSCAIT and Lucas. Of course, there is a scouting probe, or not, I should rather say a blocking probe, and it will kill the scouting SUV, so that's pretty neatly done. And what kind of a build will we have? Looks like it's going to be a proxy with Templar tech behind that. And it's, well, it's going to be found, because that SUV must have seen it. And SSCAIT, will it have any kind of detection? The eBay will probably finish, but here come the two first Dark Templar, and that is going to be iffy, because the first one's going straight into the main, and a lot of SUVs will be killed. The first turret is started, but not really, or just might, no, will not be finished. Will we have a turret in the main, in the natural as well? No, doesn't look like it. This turret will probably finish. This SUV will do a heroic deed, but lots of workers are going to be killed, and there is going to be a turret in the natural as well. So SSCAIT might still recover, and is now lifting the command center. That's pretty neatly done. The tanks are out of range of the turret, and that is indicative of a bot which is not completely up and running yet. Although not completely up and running, but is has just been started. And the command center is just going to float over here. Small army build-up by Lucas, and Lucas is still going to remain on one base for the time being, building a lot of pylons and doing a hell of a lot of damage over here. And here the command center will be repaired, and of course a new base taken. So that's a nice bit of an extra strategy. These tanks though, they should really... Oh, the turret's under attack, but the tank will keep Mccrae to defend it. Meanwhile, small incursion, the bunker is under attack, but the repair by so many SUVs is there as well. And I don't think that the damage will be enough. The Zealot will just get away with its life, and some workers will be transferred, but I don't think... No. But then again, there is hardly any income for SSCAIT at this point. These SUVs start mining again, and this bunker can fight pretty effectively, doing a lot of damage to the Goon and to the Zealot. This SUV is mining for its life. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And now the Dark Templar are out in... Oh dear, the turret is still there, and... Oh, SSCAIT is so lucky that it's got some SUVs over here mining still. That is what's keeping it into the game. There is one tank, one bunker, and behind that Lucas is taking another base. So with 30 workers versus only 5, of which only a handful is mining, it can be pretty hard. And the question is, what's SSCAIT going to do with its money? It's got 200 minerals, and it's not really building anything. So although it held the attack, it doesn't really look like there is any kind of restarting going on. 300 minerals, and now no, still the SCVs are mining over here, nothing happening over there. And you can see where this is going. This is as nice a hold as you can get, or could have been a little bit nicer, but then again the Protoss follow-up would have been much better. Oh, and the SCV is running off, so this base is now completely defenseless. Mining is going on over here. SCAIT is restarting. It's building SCVs, but... oh, the command center in the main. The command center in the main is there, but by now the Protoss army is so big, and even though... oh, the siege tank will perhaps kill the Dark Templar. Yeah, the Dark Templar dies, and now is one tank won. Oh, but there is no repair at all, and the tank is going to be killed. The bunker is going to be overrun. And of course, versus this kind of a Protoss army, it's going to be all over the Terran. And yeah, there we go. So, Locutus with a nice DT, proxy DT, took out the enemy, and SCAIT is still vulnerable, as is demonstrated here. Workers are being built over here. I don't think that Locutus knows about that base. Yeah, that will be killed as well. And now it's going to be the task of finding the enemy. All the expansions will be visited, I suppose. And, oh dear, in style, of course. No, nothing here, nothing there. And now they might even see the SCVs, but with only 8 SCVs, and still there is no... oh, you'll say they're still doing stuff. But now the base will be found, and immediately the entire army will converge upon it. So that's the end of that. And let's hop into the midfield. We've got Jacob Tranchik versus Ice. And Ice is, of course, the master Terran of yore. And Tranchik is going to do a very sneaky thing. If you know him, you know what it's going to be. Probe is going to plant a pylon right in vision of Ice, and that's pretty ballsy. And more workers coming off the line, and of course these SCVs have things well under control. The pylon is dead, the probe is dead as well, a new probe will be sent, and Tranchik has got a bit of money, but then again it will... no, the SCVs will try and kill it again. The constructing SCV is killed, and a little bit of damage done to the barracks, but still this bunker rush has now, this cannon rush has failed. And you can see the probe will return to base, and it will try and defend over there. There you go, a couple of cannons planted, and well, Ice will be macroing up slowly on 2 bases and eventually overrun this position. You can see these Marines are not equal to the task, but this tank pretty much is, and with only 1 tank and now 2, this is going to be over pretty quickly, and Tranchik has now officially failed. There you go, no more to do, some cannons over here, but the song is the same, the tanks are all over it, and Tranchik is losing probes. So that's the GG, Ice on 2 bases, Tranchik, good play, but not good enough for the master Terran of the old days, and that's the game, as they say. So, next game up. It is Qbert, and Qbert, of course, is the English queen from Sussex from donkey's years ago. The opponent is TSC Protoss, and TSC Protoss is a formidable opponent. Will probably not make it into the round of 16, but still pretty good. And Qbert, of course, relies so heavily on bio that it will be... well, if the Protoss will get the tech show up with Storm and Reavers and things like that, playing bio versus a mix like that is not going to be easy at all. And TCMU's got the natural started again, and a light contain on the enemy. And Qbert is going for more Marines and the factory, of course, and this is an eBay. Yep, there it goes. And now the goons are being chased by a handful of Marines. And of course they could be kited, but the entire army is on the run, and that's rather atypical of TSMU. And meanwhile Qbert has got a nice defensive position with a lot of Marines. Turret, Stim is there, Siege Mode will be there soon too, +1 starter, +1 weapons, and TSMU Protoss is doing with Goon range for now in matters of technology. Going for... oh, that's nice. Robo Bay, and the contain is back again. And with this number of goons, if your micro is good enough, you can take out quite a number of enemies. Then again, you've got to shoot, and if you don't do that, these Stimp Marines are pretty angry. But without medic support, they are also pretty vulnerable. The medics are lagging a little bit behind, and I think that these goons could have done a little bit better. Third base started though for TSMU, and the natural up and running for Qbert. Now the concave is there for TSMU. The medics have caught up, but the Marines have stimped themselves half to death. And this small expeditionary force of Qbert is going to be cut down mercilessly by all these goons. The goons have got range, +1 started, and now they will be back for more, but with 2 siege tanks over there, it's going to be hard breaking that with just a handful of gateway units, especially considering the quite substantial bio army which is over there as well. So yeah, 1 foot on the nose, tank beautifully positioned, can range the bridges and all the areas over here, so that's will be interesting. 4th base up for TSMU, cannon at this one, at that one. Workers being transferred all over the place. Qbert on 32 workers, TSMU on nearly double that number. And the question is, what's Qbert going to do? +1/+1 range, and that's about it. TSMU will shortly have armor and weapons done, leg speed as well for the zealots. Quite a nice army, but can't really break through this defense, which is getting better and better by the minute. More tanks will be built, and of course more Marines as well. And Qbert has got half of the money in his main left, so could easily take a third. Oh, now he's moving out. And the tanks are a little bit slow, but once the tanks catch up, these goons will have to run. Although they do a beautiful, beautiful job at killing all the Marines. Oh, and this is pretty ballsy. Now going straight for the tanks. And Qbert will have to run for its life, but I think the life will have to be paid. TSMU doing way too much damage, and another defensive setup over here with 2 tanks, but TSMU just will keep macroing, and that's going to be, ooh, a nice one, snap one out there. The goons are still there, but oh, there is no Marine support at all. The medics die, and now these tanks are all for it, and oh dear. Marines come on into play just in the nick of time, quite a number of barracks, so Qbert could hold this, but TSMU is brutally pushing it with a lot of gateways and also some of this this base over here. The goons are now attacking workers, and at that point you are not really going to recover. It's 30 versus 60 workers, has been the whole time, but with Stimp Marines and siege tanks you can hold off gateway units for a very long time. Your micro and clustering will have to be on point, and every time Qbert is not really fighting its battles right, the Marines move out way too far, get themselves killed, the tanks are too far in the rear, and now the medics are AFK, so that's not good. And TSMU is coming to drop some zealots as well, and here we've got another shuttle with what in it? I don't know. Natural been depopulated, it's now less than 20 versus almost 70 workers. Oh, small, a couple of drops. Mains mining out, worker counts down the tube. 5th base started for TSMU, all kinds of tech going to be built over here. Upgrade wise, TSMU exploding all over the map. Oh, has only got, what's that? Disruption web? I don't know. Well, it's all up and over. Qbert bites the dust, and let's hop into the next game, which will be Mccrae versus Alien. And it's strange to see Mccrae in the middle of the pack. Let's see, where is it? Mccrae behind Proxy, and that is... oh no, it's not in the middle of the pack. Mccrae's doing pretty good. Did I pick this replay to show Alien? Alien, where are you? Oh yes, Alien is definitely, yeah, well, right at the border really. This 68% was the cutoff, and might still have a slim chance of getting in. Let's see how it will fare versus a very good Protoss. Overlord making its way over, Scouting Probe, same, and Alien started the natural, and after that, of course, the spawning pool. And Mccrae going for Gateway, Cybercore, some money in the bank, I think, for a quick natural. But the Zerglings are all over this first Zealot. But fortunately for Mccrae, there were 3 more in reserve amongst the workers. And now Alien is capitalizing on the map control for now to build another base. Another Zealot getting killed, and only then the main base Zealots come off the line. The scouting probe is going to be stuck. This gateway micro thing is not really working as well as planned. Worker-wise though, Alien lagging a little bit behind. Only 16, 17 workers, small handful of units. And of course the Protoss army at this point is stronger and will be even stronger when Dragoons will start to show. Worker count for Alien still pretty low. Only 3 hatcheries. This will be another one. But these 3 Zealots are doing a lot of damage, and they haven't even got the +1 yet. So with the Sunken, I think that Alien will be able to defend. This is how you do it. Fight in tandem with your defense, your long-range defense, and your fighting units. Now it's a bit of a melee in the middle of the map. But the Zerglings, have they got speed? No, they haven't got speed yet. Are going to be a little bit hard-pressed to get things done. But there is a Corsair out. Where is it? I did see it earlier. Yes, there are 2 now. And that will mean that Alien will have to have some kind of air defense. There is 1 Hydra, which is good. Worker count still pretty low considering there are 3 bases. And now the middle of the map is a little bit of a mess and a muddle. We've got Corsairs over here trying to find Overlords. And Hydras as well. So if the Hydras ever find this base and reach it, they will do exceptional damage versus the Zealot. There are not too many other units, which is a bit of a hindrance for Mccrae, but the Zerglings are falling rapidly, and now there are only 3 Hydras, and they're going to kill a Pylon, which of course is not the best choice they could have made. And one even, will not die. Oh, this Zealot is pretty ballsy, and more Hydras are rolling up. So Mccrae under a lot of pressure, and not really killing enough Overlords. Where are the Overlords? The Overlords are here. And Alien doing it beautifully, making more workers, having overrun the natural, and Mccrae simply doesn't have the army at this point. It's all Corsairs. If you look at it, 4 Corsairs and 0 Zealots, that just went off the radar. And if you don't build an army, your main base will soon look like this, and that's very unfortunate. A lot of tech and not really far enough to build the Templar Archives. All the work's gone, and Alien takes one of Mccrae, so definitely chances there for the stout Zerg. Then again, it's still got to play about 20 games before we'll know if we'll see it in the round of 16. And if we do, I wouldn't be sorry, because it can play beautiful games versus strong opponents. So GG for Alien, and next game up is a TVZ. We've got Surenclad's Whopper, and on the other end we've got Zer, and of course we've seen lots of games of both these players, but let's see how it's going to play out this game. Scouting drone doesn't find it here. And will it go cross? No, it will go to the right position this time, and Whopper will be found. There you go. Scouting SUV going cross first, finds the Zerg. And there you go, standard quick expansion, then the spawning pool, and hope. Oh, that was a gas trick, but there was a marine out, and that was a cut short. And Surenclad's Whopper, the bot's called Whopper, WOPR, is going to, already has code to handle situations like these. Bunker in the natural choke, very well placed, and that's basically going to prevent any Zergling attacks. Maybe a run-by with 20 Zerglings might do it a world of good. And Zer is going for a hatch, a lair, and a Hydra den. So that might mean lurkers. But then again, this looks like a spire, so I don't really know what would prompt you to get a hybrid build like that going. Because Hydra den costs money, and drones, that wouldn't really be the best play. Will we have lurkers? Yes, small peak we will. And of course you can switch into muters behind that. So Whopper, what will it do? It has got a comsat, it has got, hasn't got an eBay yet, and has got quite a minefield over here. So let's, ooh, that was 1 Ling versus 10 mines, that was pretty good actually. And now the lurkers are going to come into play. Very, very, very low worker count by Zer, only 13, that's not a lot. You might have droned a little bit harder and then built. I need to tune this down a bit. That Terran tune is so noisy. Need to tune that down. But I'd say that... Oh, here is a muter. Here come the forces of Zer. Zer is a little bit slow. You might have droned harder, built a macro hatchery somewhere, or a third base, or both. And now it's just a very, very hybridish army. And yeah, I think that it's not really fair at this point, because Terran has got thrice the number of workers and more than double the army, and you're trying to get stuff done versus a mech army with Goliaths and Wraiths, with 2 Mutas and 1.5 Lurker and some Hydras. That clearly is not going to work. Droning is in progress a little bit. That might be a hatch. This might be a hatch. But the game plan of Zerg is a little bit old-fashioned. It's rather slow. And Whopper, of course, is from 2013, so it's not the fastest bot either. But compared to Zer, it's quite fast, and Zer still hasn't taken a 3rd base, has got an extra hatch now, so might drone a little bit harder, but still more than 50% down in drones. That's not good at all, and Terran has been sitting back on 2 bases. You're not going to break that with a 2-base Zerg economy, let me tell you that. And yeah, Zer, what's it got? It's got 10 army supply, we've got a handful of lurkers. Oh, scan going off. Scan wasted, but there are so many scans in these comsats that's going to be yeah, quite enough. With some Wraiths overhead, and I think, yeah, these Mutas should stay the hell away from there because there are so many Goliaths. And this push that will be coming, this 3rd base is rather late. There is not a hive, there is no swarm, and even if there were swarm, there are so many tanks by now. Whopper taking a 3rd base and taking the time to delete an egg from the map. And yeah, the Zerg army is just not there anymore. Morphing lurkers in the middle of the map while the Terran push is coming. It's just clearly not going to work. Large reserve for Whopper, and you might even try to harass this, kill the Goliaths. They are not being repaired. That was a trick that Whopper never learned or got coded. And now you see, oh, the Muta count is down, but there are 2 Wraiths. And yeah, the damage is just too great at this point. There is one more Lurker, it gets scanned and it will get killed probably. Yes, there it goes. The Vultures are quite on point, and more bases for Whopper. Whopper really rolling and brimming with energy. It is, well, hardly able to spend its money, but there are more bases to be built, so I think that this game is pretty much over. Yeah, one more sunken. And Zer, although, yeah, the build order wasn't that great, and I don't think we're going to see it in the round of 16. Oh, and a battle cruiser by Whopper, that's pretty good. Back in the days it used to be a little bit worse than Ice and Crazio, but the battle cruisers were always a nice touch, and they could do pretty well. But next game up, it's Martin Reuter's Leaderbot, still running for the round of 16, as we saw earlier. Needs to have a last 20 games with a little bit more wins than it has had so far. At the other end of the map, we've got Zhuan Hengzi, and what's it going to do, I don't know. So, oh, Forge, lots of money in the bank, and I think it's going to be Cannon Rush, but this probe really can't get in, so the Cannon Rush is sort of cut short, and there is a lot of money in the bank, but it's not, Zoo is not able to spend it, so that's unfortunate. Leaderbot is just messing around with 4 Marines, has got quite a bit of money as well, and Zoo is going to send one more scouting probe, or building probe rather, and it's got 1500 minerals in the bank. That's quite a lot. We'll have 2k before the probe arrives at the enemy, and then still cannot get in. Oh, now it will start building here, but did you hear that? There are 3 siege tanks out already, and the cannons will be there, but they will be cut short and down, and this is a quite failed cannon rush, really. It's nice war by Lita, and right now these tanks have got things so much. Oh dear, dear, dear. Yeah, there you go, and now you can have all the money in the world, but once this push starts eroding, you are not able to stop it, and Leaderbot takes a game, might be a good one, on its way to the round of 16. Oh dear, not again. This one. Simplicity versus Toothpick Cactus. Simplicity amazes all with the drops, and now has to struggle hard to get into the round of 16. Its current place is 60, so it will need to make good about 15 places. That's quite a challenge. if I'm brutally honest, or even moderately honest, I don't really think it can make it in there. So that will be rather difficult. And Toothpick, of course, the Valiant Terran, where is it? Toothpick is even a little bit further down, so that's not going to work either. But still, let's see what these two players have got in store for us before we say goodbye to them. As from next week, I think we'll be casting the round of 16 and onward. So yeah, what will you have? So last chance for these two good bots to show us a good match. Simplicity, starting with a handful of Zerglings. Will we have speed for them as well? No, we will not. But still, that is quite a bit of Zerglings. And I don't know what they're all going to do. Toothpick going for Marines with medic support and a fire bat. No stim yet. That is, I think, quite... well, you should get it if you are going to play bio, and you should... Oh, there is the stim. But it's not going to be there. There is one sunken. Oh, and you can see... Oh, the first is fire bats. They're all going to die. And the Marines, they don't really believe they can get anything done without stim. Now, speed is done. Stim will be done soon too. And if I were Zerg, I'd put down another couple of... oh dear, oh dear, all the medics are going to be lost. And that's going to be quite painful, because then you'd have stim and no more HP. And that's... pretty dangerous. A large portion of the Zerg army gets caught, and the Terran army can push on. It should regroup, because Zerg has got quite a number of bases, and I think it's only producing Zerglings at this point. Oh no, we're going to see hybrids and drones as well. So Simplicity is really slipping into full macro mode. Not too much technology. We've got +1 ground weapons and range and stim, and not +1 damage for Terran. And Terran is going to have to work hard. But has got 3 bases as well, so lots of income, lots of barracks. And the production tabs of both players are going to look pretty good. The Zergling Scout is going on, and now the Terran Death Train is being pushed back to base, but with the Fire Bat and Stim, you need more Zerg to handle that. And worker-wise, Toothpick is ahead, starting another base over here, so both players really macroing hard. And of course, Overlord Speed, and Medic Energy, that's quite good. Siege mode, of course this will be to the advantage of Terran, because Terran will, the army will get increasingly better with more supply, with more Marines and Medics. It can just do so much more. And the Zerg army will be a little bit slower. Oh, the scouting, the Zerglings, they did kill... Oh dear, they might kill the command center before the reinforcements arrive. Will they bring it down into the red? They will. No, they are not committed, and they try to flee, and the command center will probably get finished. Now Zerg is going to rove the map, intercepting some troop transports, and is going to build some lurkers as well. No hive tech, but the Terran army is pretty formidable at this point. It's all over the map, and even these small pockets of units are going to do quite formidable damage to the stray Zerg bands roving and roaming the map. Now let's see how it's going to play out. The lurkers are burrowing, and even with stim you are going to need a lot of force to stim into a lurker field like that. And the scan goes off, one lurker gets killed, but once there are supporting units, it's pretty hard to fight down lurkers. Oh, and this is nice. Air vision overhead, and the Wraith. Lots of workers to be killed, and now Terran has got a good position on the Zerg. There are lurkers though, and that's going to be iffy, and now the contain will be broken, and Terran is on the run. There is only 55 army supply. The problem though is that Zerg is exploding all over the map. Oh, a nice little train. Will this Sunken finish? I don't think. Oh, perhaps at the cost of this this hatchery, the Sunken may finish. And yeah, there it goes with 2 Zerglings. I think they may work. Yeah, that may just work for Zerg. Lurkers rolling up, and Zerg is going to be way out of control. It's got 70 workers versus the 60 of Terran. And oh, more lurkers coming in as well to help stem the Terran tide. Oh dear, so much damage. Reinforcement being cut down all over the place. This drone's pretty dead. And 2 more lurkers, and lurkers from the front, from the rear, into the Valley of Death. Stimmed out the few Portrait Marines, but Cactus is building like a madman, and is building barracks here as well. The Zerg army is going to invade the natural though. That's going to be painful. once the lurkers are in among the workers, it's going to be lots of damage. And there are so many lurkers that you can't really stop that with pure marine. You're going to need a couple of tanks. Stuff coming in from the rear, from the front, lurkers dying slowly, but still lots and lots of damage, lots of marines going to die as well. And I think that is a net victory for Simplicity. And now the lurkers can even advance further into the natural. The command center is lifting, workers keep dying, and now I think we'll have to get out. Oh dear, oh dear, irradiated overlord, and now in range with the tank. I think that was the end of that, but here come more Zerg forces, and Zerg is really breaking down the Terran at this point. This incursion by Terran was held. There are Zerglings everywhere, and although Toothpick is producing out of a lot of barracks, the Zerg armies are just rolling the map. Okay, good. Now with a couple of siege tanks, the drop is being cut short as well, and I think the control of the natural will fall back to Terran. Yes, last blast from this tank settles that lurker, but Zerg is way out of control and still producing workers. Now we'll have ultras as well. Upgrade-wise, there is a lot of stuff going on, and Terran has got all kinds of cool technology, but I don't really think that Ghost may be the best option for fighting Zerg, and the Zerg armies are incredibly effective. They are fighting so well, and the tanks in the rear are doing a lot of damage, but I think they just might be overrun. But the Hydras, they flee. No, they don't, and they kill. One more tank blast, and that's that. The Terran army is down on its knees. Again, there are lurkers in the natural. The command center is lifted, the main is mined out, and this base is overrun as well. So the worker count for Terran is nearly 0, and Zerg has still got 72, and that is a lot of ultras. So Zerg not really overcommitting at this point. But for Terran there is simply nothing mining anymore. Oh well, 2 SCVs on gas. There is one lurker from an old drop. And here comes the hammer. Will there be is there a divider as well? Did I see that correctly? No, I don't think there is. But there is going to be a hell of a lot of Zerg right into the main. And yes, that's going to be that. Only 6 Terran army supply and 0 workers. This game is, oh well, pretty much lifted all the buildings. This game is over. So congratulations for Simplicity, Toothpick Cactus, thank you for playing. We'll hope to see you again next year, both of you. Beautiful game. Next game up, it's Black Crow versus ABCD XYZ. And, well, I should show one of the players at least. We've got a Zerg, Black Crow, and ABCD is going to play as the Teal Protoss. Let's see what it's going to do. We have got a scouting probe and a scouting drone, so scouting is going on both ends. Black Crow is going to build a pool, so that's a 10 pool, and that leads me to suspect there will be more than just a 4 pool. Well, more than just Zerglings I should say, because if you have got 10 drones, a 4 pool will be very much impossible. We've got gas as well, so perhaps we'll get to see speed, and the Zerglings are going to block the ramp, kill the scouting probe and hold their position. That's a very wise move. You won't get damaged too much. You can see that. Oh dear, we go. Got Black Crow building another hatch. And might even build another one. Yes, there we go. So this looks to be some kind of Zergling play with speed and just a lot of Zerglings. On the other end though, we've got Dark Templars, and that is going to be just in time. That was a Zergling push held perfectly. Of course there is going to be an Overlord, or there are 3 Overlords actually. And you can build quite a lot of Zerglings, and you are going to need a bit of Zerglings because these Dark Templar, they will do a lot of damage to Zergling, and now to workers as well. So yeah, there you go, 3 Dark Templars are going to clinch the game. No heavy HP defense, and yeah, that's the game for Protoss. Must be no more workers, no more money, and no Overlord cover for the Zergling. So GG, I suppose. ABCD going to take another expansion, but it will all be just for the record as this game is won. Next game up, it is Flash versus Lucas Moravec, and I'm casting in a high speed because I've got so many games to show you. Flash is starting with a pylon, and so does the Lucas. And Lucas, well, couldn't really bring his game together, has been working really hard on this bot, but just hasn't managed to get any kind of killer build order or just killer play together. And as he's working mainly from his own resources and not using too many prefab articles, I must say it is quite impressive. But nowadays you can just grab all these kind of building planners and map analysis tools like BWEM and FAP, and it's it makes the game so much easier and you won't have to start out from scratch. Flash is going, I suppose, for 3 gateways. Only 2 gateways over here by Lucas. Lucas and Flash have got the same army supply. Flash has got 2 more workers, is taking gas as well, building 1 more pylon, and now it will all be down to Zealot Micro. And Lucas has got the greater army at this point, has got more Zealots, and has got the gas as well. He is starting, I presume, a Cyber Core, and the Cyber Core for Flash is done. Still 2 workers up, that's good. And taking up position at the bridges. This is going to be a tense battle, all with Zealots. And one of Lucas's Zealots will be caught over here. I don't think this is the wisest engagement, but you, of course, if you're going to win 1 Zealot there, you've got to lose 2 over here. Lucas with the army advantage, and the question is, who will switch to Goons first? If you are switching to Goons and the enemy still only got Zealots, you will have a very good advantage for later in the game. And Lucas is running such a lot, and there are so many Zealots. It's got the army advantage, it's got the defender's advantage, but it's just not working for Lucas at the moment. And Flash is going to just build units, I suppose. No natural from either player, and now Flash has got Goons. That's good. There is a Corsair, but there are no air units for Flash, so that's going to be pretty ballsy. The Zealots of Lucas are going to win, but they are running so much, and that's really strange. They are way superior in numbers, and these Goons, they are doing a lot of damage to buildings. Still not a natural from Flash either. But I really don't know what Lucas is doing. All the workers have been killed meanwhile, and the Zealots still refuse to fight. And I must say, I'm going to have to give this game to Flash. So that's GG. Next game up, it's Madmix versus Forcebot, and Madmix is going to play as the Purple Terran, and of course Forcebot as the Zerg. And Zerg from the Go project from the Delft University, and that's well, interesting project, which was discontinued unfortunately, but not after. About 400 coders have worked with StarCraft Group War, and this run by is not there at all. 3 cannons make sure of that. And Forcebot, of course, spotted this lot of juicy probes over here. But then again, you've got to make sure the way towards them is accessible, and now it's going to macro a little bit. Worker count for Forcebot 16, now a lot of Hydras, no macro hatch, and 34 workers for Madmix Protoss. And Madmix, I think, is going to have some excellent cards. Going to lose a couple of buildings because the defense is not all there. The Hydras are all over it, but there are not enough. I believe the Robo-Bay just survives, and still only 20 workers for Forcebot, and just might have had more. The Hydras over here are doing damn all. That's pretty weird. Oh, now they're going to play with the Zealots a little bit. That's better. And Madmix is just building a lot of gateway units. Out of 44 workers, only 20 workers for Forcebot. No, that's not another base. That's a party of Hydras killing a lone Zealot. So, oh, Hydra getting lost. 2 goons. No, that's not a 4th base either. Going to be a lair and a macro hatch. But all in all, I'd say that Forcebot feels a little sluggish, and it's doing that with 100 APM, and now 350, 360, the army must be moving, and if the army stops, then the APM will fall. 3rd base up for Protoss, and that's just not enough Zerg forces. It's 15 versus 41 army supply. 4th base is there, the worker count is still too low, and the army count is not that impressive either, and Madmix is just making units, and that's a pretty good strategy. Just build stuff, kill enemies, and that is something that bots, in their enthusiasm for just doing all kinds of cool stuff and balancing things, they forget they've got to have an army. And the army is sort of there. 4 bases, the Protoss army is just double the size of the Zerg army, and that's all kinds of problematic. Upgrade wise, both players are pretty much balanced, +1 weapons, +1 armor, range, things like that. It's all good fun, but in the end, this Protoss army will need to be defeated sometimes, and this Zerg army of 45 is not going to do that with any kind of lurkers. Although with the Sunkens the fight is going quite efficiently for Zerg, but still the main army is falling. The Natural's completely overrun. This backstab is way too late. Now there's a Reaver as well. 4 bases, 4 Protoss. Just some random production over here. And the map will start turning purple, and not from the creep, but just from the Protoss army, which is now invading the main base, and all the workers for Zerg are dying. Very unfortunate for Zerg. Zerg's trying to hold this pocket secret, but after the main base has been killed, I'm sure that the Protoss army will try to find it. And should have found it by now. Yes, there we go. We've got High Templar, we've got Reaver, we've got Max Protoss. And this was the game. Good game, and both players see you again next year. Next game up, it is UIE Test versus Kill All. And Test is going to play as the yellow Zerg. And I think that... no, Kill All is the Zerg, of course, and Test is going to play as the Protoss. There we go. Zergling's been cut short, lots of Zerglings, but in the end I think that Kill All is going to have to do more than that, and is now, just really focusing on Zerglings for the time being. There is 1 Zealot, only 1 gateway, 2 gateways now, but that is really a lot of Zerglings, and if you do not, as a Protoss player, see this coming, 2 Protoss and a Goon, the Goon will need to have to fight hard, the workers will have to fight as well, because otherwise the Goon is just going to be dropped and cornered. Oh dear, here it goes. Another Goon, but the first Goon is cornered and killed. And I think that Protoss is under a lot of pressure. Now the Pylon is going to be killed as well, which means that this gateway will not be powered anymore. And that's quite a nice strategy, and UIE Test is not going to do that. Nice play by Kill All. Kill All kills UIT Test. God, I'm not even managing. And we're going to go into the last game of today. No, I don't bloody hell. It's going to be Qbert versus Willy T. Willy T, of course, has been working really hard on this Terran. Is not going to make the cutoff this year, as is Qbert. And Qbert is starting with a pool first, and then a small thingamajiggy. Oh, that's pretty defensive. And still gas, so as far as one base plays go, this bot is rather playing it safe, going for more and more Sunkens and a quick lair. And Willy T is just going to build a big batch of army, and perhaps maybe looking for a timing attack. This is just a very compact, very solid build order. 2 hatches, and yeah, good luck, have fun breaking that. There were some SCVs in there as well, and now there are mutas all over it, at least 2, and soon to be 3, and more Sunkens coming up as well. So I think that this look at these medics go, and only once their energy is exhausted, and now there are way too many Marines. And although the muta play is going quite well, the Mccrae is not bad. It's just a 1 base Zerg versus a 1 base Terran, and of course if you're making bio, you can hold a 1 base Zerg in town or in its own base for quite a long time. Now some Zerglings as well. So perhaps the natural may be denied for the time being, but what is Zerg doing? Maybe saving for a natural. Should save for a natural, because this is not going to work at all. The army count is pretty paltry. It's 5 mutas and 5 mutas and 13 Zerglings. The natural started though, so if the Zerg can keep the Terran in its base for a little while longer, perhaps pick off a tank here and there without losing anything, that might be good. And oh, there are the 3rd base coming up as well. So while I thought it was a pretty build order, you should deny this though. If the Zerglings are going to do anything, just deny the natural for a little while and you'll be in a much better position. Meanwhile, the mutas are going to do pretty well. Oh, the building SUV was killed, that was good. But still, that's only 5 neuters, and they're doing such a good job in keeping the Terran on its toes. Meanwhile, the natural has finished mining. Oh, it's not going to commence. Third is started, and Willy is having the hardest time getting its show together. It has got great difficulties in fighting off 5 neuters, which admittedly are playing pretty good. As far as 5 neuters go, that's not bad. But now Qbert is droning behind this a little bit. And it's not losing a single neuter, and the neuters... Oh, 1 neuter dead. That's good for Terran, and Terran will have a natural as well. But the Zerg will have lots of forces on the map, and only's got 19 workers, so I don't know what the hell is happening in this game. More neuters, though, are coming in. Production tab is showing neuters, and considering the damage they are doing, they're going to kill the turret in the main at the cost of all of themselves. And now Willy has really got to get some kind of a counter push together, and I think that's going to be here. Some neuters are trying to stop it, but still these fire bats are killing a lot of workers, and there is no air support or anti-air support for Terran. So all in all, it's a pretty good match, and this fire bat has been really lucky up until now, and is now going to be killed. Qbert on only 17 workers, while there are 41 for Willy. Willy taking a 3rd base and is still producing a lot of army. And now the neuters will have to work even harder. The worker count for Zerg is just not there. There are all kinds of bases, but there is nothing happening, and at that point it's just money wasted. So let's speed up the game a little bit while keeping an eye on the worker numbers. Although the neuters, of course, are microing quite well, this is not going to work versus the Terran, which by now is on 3 bases, and once the hammer falls, there is nothing to stop it, not enough workers, and even the sunken defenses, augmented by 2 or 3 neuters, are certainly... Oh, that's a nice hold, but there's just so much more coming in. A 4th base is started for Willy T, and that, I think, is going to be the game. Main base overrun, and that was, I think, this broadcast, which was a little bit short. But I hope to have shown you a lot of players from the middle of the pack, which will not be joining us in all probability in the round of 16, which will start broadcasting, I think, from about next week. So thank you for all participants, and thank you for everyone who has been submitting replays to be casted. Thank you for all our Patreons, our supporters. Of course, you can still do that, and keep coding, keep watching. Thank you for watching. For now, I say goodbye and have a good night.